as well as the recording for this video. We are recording, so everyone will receive the video. At the moment, is there anybody else who has questions that they would like to ask?
I raised my hand, but
yes, Mr. David, you can go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I have a little bit of construction at the background, but my question is with regards to the filing and the returns. So, okay. And also two questions on the issue of you doing business outside, like for instance, Nigerian banks that are doing business outside, making profit. For instance, in 2019 to 2020, UBA determined to make a profit of 3 billion with the subsidiaries outside of Nigeria. So I was wondering if those ones will be taxed when they bring in the money into Nigeria. That's a huge sum outside of Nigeria. Then the other thing is, what is the role of technology today with regards to filing of taxes? And
thank you very much. I forgot that.
Also the records, the keeping of tax records. So I'm into tax collection, and we've designed a system that collects tax from local councils or local government, as you say. And that means we collect tax from everybody, because businesses in the local government, and also people and housing tax as well. So what is the role of technology in aiding SMEs to meet those tax return demands, and also the role of consultants leveraging technology as well to advise SMEs? Thank you.
So do I take the questions one after each other, or I should just take all the questions first?
I think you can answer the questions one after the other.
Okay, no problem.
I think just, right. Yes.
Okay, so let me answer your question, Mr. David. You asked about technology. I actually forgot to mention something about that. We all know that technology has a lot of role to play in businesses these days. As a result of that, the Federal Inland Revenue Service and even the State Board of Internal Revenue, particularly, I'll talk about my location, which is Lagos. That's the Lagos Internal Revenue Service, have been able to come up with filing returns electronically. So now we don't need to physically go to Lagos State Board of Internal Revenue or even the FIRS anymore to file return. It makes our work, our job easier, even as consultants, even as companies. You on your own can actually go online, do all your registration online, get everything you need online. It's there now, it's possible. We can do all that. Even filing of return, getting your TCC2 is now done online. You don't need to go there physically. As long as all your records have been updated with them and it is correct and complete, it can all be done online. So really, I have forgotten about that, but I needed to mention it. Yes, all has been done online now. So even for us tax consultants, it makes our work a bit more easy. All we just need to do is to advise on what to do. Everything is being done online now. You don't need to go to any physical office like we needed to. I've even been in sessions recently where when they need to do, I don't know how many of you are conversant in tax audit meetings. They do tax audit meetings online now, there's Zoom. We do it. So it's made our life a bit easy. Now, people are already taking advantage of that, and it is making people now even to be more compliant with doing their tax return. You also had the question about companies bringing in income from abroad. Yes, that's what the law says. That if you have income or interest coming from abroad, there's nothing, it's not taxable. So for those companies, banks that are doing that well, unfortunately, they are taking advantage of the law. So there's nothing we can do about it. So even if they are bringing in trillions of money coming from abroad, as the law says, it is not taxable, so they are free. So I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, but you answered the two questions. The third one was how can SMEs position in terms of records? You know, the tax law, there's the income tax law. It talks about records. Some countries, it's about 6 years. You have to keep that record for 6 years.
Oh, okay.
So in case they
okay,
come
that's
back,
what you're saying.
yes. So
okay.
now there are technologies that you can deploy as an SME to record daily sales and record all your expenses integrated into your QuickBooks and all the rest. And you keep that record, but also use that now to automatically file, your tax from those digital records. How are tax consultants advising SMEs to take advantage of such technology?
Definitely the same way they do their tax filing. Since you already have your records automated, so it makes it a bit easy for everybody. Your records are already automated. Whenever they ask for such information, the FIRS or whatever, you're able to pull them out from your system and be able to send it to them without any stress. Because what used to happen is that both the tax consultant, both the FIRS, they will need to visit your offices physically to get all those documents. But if you already have them on, so to say, in quote, soft copies and all that, all you just need to do is to extract those data, pull them up, and update it on their website. It's that easy now. They do that now. So even tax audit and tax investigation are easier to do now based on these facts.
Thank you, ma.
You're welcome.
Yes, I see another hand up, an OJS. If that person could please unmute and ask their question. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, madam. Thank you for the presentation. Okay, so I have a question for you. I run a consultancy outfit, and we have a JV with a similar company. So what happens is that when they secure contracts, then they subcontract to us.
Okay.
And then, so the primary company will pay tax. So what is our own position supposed to be? Because, for example, we have a project that is, let's say, 40 million naira, and then they've taken out VAT on the contract, and then withholding tax, and then they now subcontract to us. Is the law now saying that we now have to pay another tax on that project? That's the clarification I need from you.
We need to know what the agreement or the whatever contract clause between you and that company. So I will first of all want to know what the contract is between. You say you're a subcontractor. What exactly are the terms of reference? Because I cannot just give you a blanket advice just like that. We need to look at what the contract says between the two of you, first of all. But from what you have said, subcontractors, are you registered as a business name or a limited liability company? This is another issue. So those are some of the things.
Yes, we are registered as a limited liability company.
Exactly. So you are liable to VAT and CIT too, because you're a limited liability company. That's why I said limited liability companies have a lot of exposure that normally in Nigeria, many of us do not understand. So because you're already a limited liability company, you're already exposed to pay VAT, CIT, and all those other taxes. The only benefits you probably have is that your company has already, maybe the principal company has already paid maybe CIT, has already paid VAT on the transaction on the transaction you are conducting. So you could probably claim that as a VAT output in your own case. That's the only thing. But you are still liable to pay VAT or to register for VAT. And like I've said, the only reason why you probably might not be liable to that if your turnover is less than 25 million, as we have already highlighted.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I can see some
questions. Thank you. Yes, there are some questions in the chat. So what I can do is that I will read them out. Okay, so the first question is from Aderonke Oloruntoye. Does a company that was registered in 2018 but hasn't started business need to pay tax? If not, what can be done?
Good. You started business in 2018. So I also have some questions for you. If you have not started business, has there been any transactions on do you have a bank account? Is there any transaction there? If the answer is no, you are not liable to pay tax. What you are liable to do is to file your company's income tax. You have to file your annual company's income tax, especially if you are a limited liability company. If it's a limited liability company, even though you have not started business, you need to file your annual returns, because that is the only, if you are not filing your annual returns now, when you now actually want to start business, or you actually start business, the FIRS will go back to 2018 and then begin to compute what we call late returns of filing. So you are going to be liable to pay late returns filing. So right now, I would advise you haven't gone so far, started in 2019, you have to file your returns for 2019, for 2020, and probably next year you file for 2021. So you have 2 years outstanding that you have not filed. You do not pay any tax. You are not liable to pay tax since you have not started your business, but you are liable to file your TIT, your annual tax returns, if you are a limited liability company. But if you are not a limited liability company, you are not liable to even file this tax return. Next question, please.
Okay, so just a clarification on my end. If he does file, he's not going to have to pay anything. He just has to file.
He's not paying any tax, because he's going to have to come up with your annual financial statements. And the annual financial statements too will show that you don't have any income coming in. You don't have any income. If you are not showing any income, there is no business being done, but you have to still file your tax. If it's a limited liability company, you still have to file your annual returns. You are liable to do that, just to show that your business has not started. So when you eventually start business, you already have what do you call it? There's already details about your company with them, and it shows that you have not started business. But if you have not done that up to now, when you eventually want to start business, they will now tell you to pay what is called late filing returns and penalties, and they will add interest, which at the end of the day may be too much for you to bear as an SME starting off. So I usually advise SMEs, if you are a limited liability company, even though you have not started business, please file your company's income annual tax returns every year. Make it a point of duty. Let it just be there. Your records are there that you have not started business. So when you eventually start business, you start on a clean slate.
Thank you so much. There's another question here from Uloma. Thank you for your session. There are ongoing issues on VAT remittance at the moment, specifically in Lagos and Rivers. What is your advice?
I actually was waiting for that question. I'm praying that nobody will remember. Anyway, my comment on this, from inception, VAT has always been for FIRS. FIRS has been the one that has always collected VAT. And when you come to issues of legality, we should be very careful in following what the law says. So far, there have been issues, Lagos and Rivers are still contesting it. So to be on the safer side, and just like the court ruling that was given, it says let status quo remain. So my advice to clients for now, to allow status quo to remain means continue your filing with FIRS until this issue is totally laid out black and white. Right now, I don't even know what color to call it, whether yellow or green or whatever. It's not in black and white. So for now, let status quo remain. Let everyone continue to file their VAT returns with FIRS. That's what the law says. So until we have, what will I say, a cogent law, that is a cogent law or guideline that is backed by law and act, let us remain where we are. Status quo says FIRS should collect VAT. Thank you. Next question.
Okay, yes. Rita asks, is there a limit for SMEs who have turnovers less than 25 million? Because some people might like to understate profits to access those exemptions. So what's often done about those in those situations?
Let me sound a note of warning. We are not talking about profit here. We are talking about turnover. I've seen a lot of clients making that mistake, even since the pronouncement. We are talking about turnover, not your profits. If your turnover is less than 25 million, yes, you are allowed. We are not talking about profits, because a lot of people have been confused. After you have taxable profit and everything, they will say, my profit is less than 25. We are talking about turnover, which is your sales. There is no way you can falsify your sales now, because definitely there will be evidences from your bank statements. You received this amount from so-so clients. You received this amount for so-so service. You received this amount for so-so. So your bank statements cannot lie. Even if you falsify your accounts. I'm an accountant, so I know what I'm talking about. Even if you try to falsify your annual financial statements, will your bank statements lie about what you have received? And it is obviously there what you have received. And for auditors too, they will go through that, they see what you have received as your turnover. So yes, we have seen situations of people trying to falsify and understate this, but you cannot understate your turnover. That's why I think the law itself, or the act itself, was very, very strategic and decisive about their use of words. It is not profit, it is your turnover. So it is your turnover we are considering, not your profit. So there's no way you can understate your turnover. Your bank statement is there to show what you have actually received. So it is very difficult to do that. So I want to advise that unless you can prove otherwise, that what you received from your clients or your vendors or your customers is not what is in your bank statement, then there is no way you can actually falsify your turnover being less than 25 million.
Okay, thank you. Temitope in the comments also asks, Ma, if someone starts a business and after 2 years puts a stop to the business, will he still pay for the 2 years that transactions have taken place?
Once you start a business, I keep saying it, especially if it is a limited liability company, you're already liable to tax. So if you do business for those 2 years, you are liable to pay tax for those 2 years. Even if after those 2 years, you are not doing the business again, the best thing you can do is to go and declare to the FIRS that you have stopped business on that particular, business on that particular company name or business name. That's the only thing you can do. And once you have done that, you also are liable to go to CAC and apply for cessation of business on that company name. So that is the only way you can deal with that. Once you have started a business and you have started making income and it's a limited liability company, you are liable to pay tax. But if business is stopping, what you can also do is to write to the FIRS and tell them that though you have been conducting business on this business ceases to exist. And if that is the case, you also have to involve the CAC, which is the Corporate Affairs Commission, in filing cessation of business with them. Thank you.